like your teaching and coaching career? Or
Well, yeah, I've I was actually whenever I got out of high school, man, computers in whenever I was in school, graduated in '93. When I was in school, computers really had just started to, you had your DOS prompt and
Mhm.
I was like, they can have that. I'm not doing that stuff. That's
Yeah.
insane. But I went to work in just a laborer. I worked in a manufacturing for 14 years,
Mm,
and we made submersible pumps.
okay.
Franklin Electric, it was the name of the place,
Oh
and
yeah.
you've probably heard of it.
Yeah.
But if they've got a gas pump or a well at your house, you might have a Franklin Electric pump or have seen one. Well, the plant shut down and moved to Mexico. They moved it to Mexico, and they gave us an opportunity. Uh, if you have so many people employed and they shut down, it gave it an opportunity to go to school. They'll pay for your schooling.
Mm,
So I went to school
nice.
later in life, and I had a friend here in our town, Colcord, that he was a computer guy, and he come over to fix my dad's computer one time, and I was fascinated. I was immediately awestruck with what he knew, and it was maybe maturity, but I
Right.
was just all of a sudden fascinated. So that's what I went for, and I went into that field and was able to work in Northwest Arkansas in Bentonville and Rogers area. I don't know if you're aware of
I'm not
that
sure where
area.
that is. Uh-uh.
It's over there with Walmart and Tyson. And
Nice. All right.
but I worked over there for a few years, and this job came calling here. I was able to become the technology director at my high school,
Nice.
at Paul Cord High School, and I drive about 5 miles to work every day. What a
Nice.
blessing!
Right.
But I've always loved coaching, and I started out, coaching my little ones, coaching little babies in t-ball, and I followed them all the way up. And one of the fast, as you said, we got to learn to deal and be gracious and cope with others. Man, the first team that I had, I think we had 12 players, and I believe we had 8 of them was from a split home. So
Oh
we had
yeah.
like 4 kids that had mom and daddy at home.
Yep.
They either lived with their grandma and grandpa, or their parents were split up. And kids really, you can tell those kids are going through that. They react to things differently. Um, they just are a little bit more shy a lot of times. They didn't know how to react to a man, maybe even getting on to him a little bit. Hey, this is what we're gonna do. They would just wilt. But that's how it started. And then once I was over here in at Colcord, I was just given the opportunity to help in softball. I was an assistant. Just I love softball. I love coaching girls. A lot of people say I won't coach girls, because girls are girls. They get excited. They they can be emotional, but it's so fun to coach my girls. I love them. If you love girls and they know it, they'll love you forever. And they will. You're their coach, and that's how it kind of got started. And now, so I assist and fast pitch, and we actually have slow pitch season.
Mm.
Um, Here we have slow pitch at our school, and we just actually played 2 games today.
Yeah,
This
nice.
morning we had two,
How'd
and
that go?
we got beat, but we had a good time. We
Nice.
come back, so
See, that's what's so cool about like coaching and sports is like competition. It doesn't matter if you're male or female, like if you're playing for a good coach, it doesn't matter. Like you're gonna gel together And that's what's so cool about Brent Venables. Like he just, I don't know, it's just like he walks into a room and like his presence, you know, like you just know he's there. And like that's how my father was. Is
Yeah,
you could just walk, he just walked, he wouldn't even say anything. You're like, oh, there's Steve. Like
right.
it just and
His presence demands respect.
it does.
And
It
and
does.
and the you can tell that these players are going to respect him, and that's what's going to be so good about this season. I can't wait to see uh, just how these players have changed, maybe a little bit, how they respond to this respect that I believe they're going to give him. I can't wait to see this season. Can't wait to see the new faces and the old too, and see what is better this year.
Yeah, I'm definitely see some conditioning and strength, you know, a lot more strength. They've been getting pushed around for the last 3, 4 years, like up front, and like they used to be dominant on the offensive line. You know, they could run the ball all day if they wanted to. And I was talking to Jarrell Jackson yesterday. I think, yeah, yesterday, and he was telling me that he don't understand how a man could be sitting in his office and he'd like try and cheat like one rep, like he'd set his weight down and he'd come running out there and say, he's all, dog, you owe me two, you still owe me two.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that's uh, I'm not sure what was going on with the last coaching staff, but it just they were not to the level ever since the Georgia game. That's kind of when I had the feeling about Riley, like he just didn't know how to put this foot on the throat. You
It
know?
just seemed like there was, we're a casual fan. I mean, I guess we're more than casual fans, but we don't get to see what goes on in the locker room. But you could tell something was off.
Yep.
You could tell something was off, and you know how he behaved that Baylor game to me. That was the telltale. Something was different. I really didn't understand his Lincoln's behavior in that game, and to me, something just signaled that there's something amiss on our Sooners team, and you could tell that the players, unfortunately, I think they were probably disconnected. You know,
Mhm.
it's hard for us, Rob, because man, we're Sooners everything. I mean,
Yeah.
we're gonna die Sooners, born and bred and
Yeah.
bleed Sooners,
That's
and
right.
these players, it was hard for me as I want them to, losing Hazelwood.
Yeah.
I don't want any players to want to leave OU,
Right.
but some will, and they're not going to be fully vested or invested in it. And I love, I love that what we're seeing from our past players coming back and giving their 2 cents, and you know, Perry and Winfrey and their dialogue and their anger. You could tell they were
Mm.
angry with what
Yeah.
happened, and I love that. I don't want them to be angry the rest of their life, but I love that they're passionate about what's happening in Norman, and that's probably what Lincoln's sold them short on, because you've seen what Perrian's doing now, how much money he's made himself, and that's what we didn't get to see because I don't think our coach was giving them his full 100%.
And that and player like you and players know they sense when you can't be around somebody that long and not know when there's something up here not right.
Yeah.
Um, like you said, like they feed off their coach, man.
They, people recognize a fraud,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what maybe they were starting to feel, and definitely may feel now. I don't want to make something bigger out of it than
Right.
it
Right.
was, but it seems like we had a fraud.
Yeah, like that 2018 offense just was simply amazing. Like it was, and then watching Baker, them offenses he had those 3 years were just crazy. And
How spoiled are we as Sooner
yeah, I
fans
know, right?
with quarterbacks? I mean, I
Yeah.
remember, um, uh, well, kid from Ponca City, Bradford, Sam Bradford,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, thinking, we're probably not going to see another quarterback as accurate as this.
Oh yeah.
And then we get just a little bit later, we get Baker,
Mhm.
and then Kyler,
Mhm.
and then it's just we've been pretty blessed with
Yeah.
talent at quarterback.
Yeah, it's kind of a too bad what happened with Spencer Rattler, huh?
It really is. I wish him success.
Yeah,
There's always things we don't know. The
exactly.
two sides to each story, but it uh, it's amazing how quickly he came and went from the darling to really the scapegoat, really, for all that was happening. And the booing, um, it's hard because there's sometimes that I'm at home, you're at home and you're like, we this needs to be better than this.
Yeah.
It's got to be better than this. But to see a kid booed, at that age, if you really look at it for what it really is, it's
Mhm.
probably unfair. And if you look at now, you think, well, it was unfair for what he was probably going through with maybe with Lincoln and the way things were happening. So, but yeah, what happened to him is remarkable, really. How
And
quickly he fell.
in like a matter of weeks, huh? Like 3, 4 weeks.
Oh yeah,
It's
Heisman favorite to
man.
benched,
Yeah, that was pretty
booed and
wild stuff.
benched.
Wild stuff, man. Really wild. Um, so you think Jocelyn Allo is gonna get the record this weekend?
Man, are they going to throw to her?
Isn't that wild? What would you do as a coach? Like you'd have to pitch to her, right?
Competition wise, we've seen that. We faced a girl a couple of years ago, fast pitch, and honestly, I can't remember where she is from. Hulbert. She was from Hulbert, and coach's kid, big girl, tall, strong, went on to play college ball. We had a pretty good pitcher, and first time up, we got probably the longest field in Dadgum in Oklahoma. I mean, they built it long, and I hate it. I wish it was shorter, but for her, yeah, I wish it was a little bit longer. But first pitch, she parks it center field, and the
Nice.
next time up, I said, throw it again. I don't. She can't do that again. Next time up, parks it again,
Dang.
and I'm like, okay, the third time we've got to throw to her again
All right.
because I've got to see. And the next at bat, off the fence, double.
Oh
And
wow.
she was just a remarkable hitter with power and hand-eye coordination, and it was so amazing to see that because they're special.
Mhm.
Jocelyn Allo is special. Her strength and her wrist, and she's one of those that can hit an inside pitch off the handle out. And I sure hope that they will pitch to her. I can't imagine going weeks without someone not saying, we're gonna compete and we're gonna try to strike her out. We're gonna try to get her out. But it's gonna be up to OU to get those girls around her to force them to pitch to her. So but what games aren't competitive right now to the most extent, because they're 9-1 against who was it the other day.
Um, there was some North Texas or no
I can't remember, but it
Utah
was a
maybe.
it was a team that battled number 3 the day before, I believe, and then we played them. So it'll be interesting to see. They go home to Hawaii, right? She goes
Yep.
home.
Yep.
How many games do they play down there?
I think they have 2 or 3. I think it's a weekend tournament.
That's awesome. I
Yep.
hope it happens down there since it didn't in Norman.
Yeah, if I was a marketing guy from Hawaiian Punch, I'd be giving her a ring.
That's a great idea.
Yeah,
Hawaiian
man.
Punch.
That'd be pretty good. Oh, Patty Gasso, you want to talk about some coaching now? Man, she's amazing, isn't she?
I have a nephew that's coaching basketball. He just recently got a new job at high school around uh, down east of Oklahoma City.
Nice.
And I can't recall the I know it's the Broncos, but I remember telling him whenever he got his first job, I said, find a mentor, find somebody that you can trust, and you're going to make tons of mistakes. And find somebody you can trust and learn what you need to do. And you can watch Patty Gasso, watch the girls, and she's just got a machine. I wish I could bottle up her magic potion that she gets the girls to play at the level they do. But if you ever watch them warming up, it is remarkable to watch their girls in and out. And that doesn't matter. All college teams are work hard, I'm sure, but she's got a machine going down there. And I just dread the day that she has to hang up her cleats. But right now, you just got to enjoy this ride that she's on, and I know she does. She's a great Christian woman, seems like. So I'm so glad that she's reaching them in that way too.
Yeah, like you said about like the warming ups. I went warm ups. I went to OU Nebraska this last year, the 50th anniversary.
Oh
And
yeah,
like the last Nebraska game I went to was it was like 96, I believe. But at 96 they were like interacting with each other, hitting each other,
yeah,
getting warmed up, and you could just tell by their body language they were ready to play. But this year or last year, man, I've hardly seen one person talk to another person. They just
hmm,
had like their phone in their hand, and like earphones in their ear, and just doing like some kind of dance. There's obviously just they weren't ready to play football. That's for sure.
right. More of a self promotion than the interaction that we
Yeah,
see. Yeah.
for sure.
That's one of the things that we talk about. We've at times we'll have to say, put your phones away, girls, it's not a bad thing here because, we've adopted we have no cell phones in our school. It
Nice.
has become such a distraction as I think you're saying right there, it's a distraction,
Yeah.
but it had become such a distraction, just like me and you. If my phone goes off, the first thing I got to do is look at it.
Yep.
And those kids in classrooms and the teacher be teaching, well, they get a text or they hear an alert and they're going to get it.
Oh yeah.
And it was just so hard, and we were able to adopt that.
Nice.
And credit to our community, very little, very little fanfare about how bad it was or the poor
Right.
kids, and it was good, and I think it's really helped our student body and being able to focus on education more than maybe some, because it's hard to teach with that cell
That's
phone. So
that's a really good idea, man. I think a lot more school districts or schools should do that. I've never thought about that, but you are right, man. It's made a lazy society too, man.
oh
Big
yeah, we
time.
talk about it often. Um, Talk about it often because you have to be aware that it affects you too. This is not just for kids
No.
that these phones have created. Boy, just like with Twitter or with Facebook
Right.
or any of these social, people can say anything they want, and there's really no repercussions. And you know, just the dealing face to face. This is face to face,
Yep.
even if it's through this. We're meeting face to face and having discussion here, and it's very little. So many kids can't have discussion because they're not used to it. They're just used to
Yep.
texting each other.
Let's say when my daughter would have friends over when she was like 14, 15, I like peek in their room and they're just texting each other, and I'm like, you guys are like right next to each
Yeah.
other, you can talk to each other.
Yeah, my oldest, I remember telling her, she'd be talking to her boyfriend, hours of texting, and I
Oh
was like,
yeah.
pick up the phone and call him.
For
Just call him. I remember
sure.
dragging that phone cord in
Oh
my
yeah.
house, into the bedroom and
Oh yeah.
talking to my wife but we need to have more interaction, being able to speak speak with our tongues instead of with our thumbs.
Good old fellowship, right?
Right, right.
That's definitely need more of that. And like my wife and I, we go on walks all the time, and we went today, and they're just the homeless community is insane, man. Here in Oklahoma City, it's just, and I just see so many abandoned buildings, and there's so much more I think the city could do, but like you said, there's always two sides to the story, like
Right.
the
Yeah.
money and all that, But I thought maybe the Thunder would do a little bit more than what they do for them.
Yeah. I always wondered that, that part of the economy are professional athletes. And I'm sure there's some, you hear a few stories about
Yeah.
guys who are really good to their community and spend millions, frankly. But uh, those of us that have should be doing more.
Right.
Um, you know, I wish I had more so I could do more. I there's nothing like blessing somebody, because God blesses you when you bless someone. And whether that's in a conversation or financially too, we have to be wise with what we give someone. But it's that's one of the things, Robert, that being unaware of, like you just said, Oklahoma City, there's so much homelessness. Um, it's unbelievable how much there really is. And like hard times or what got them there really shouldn't matter. I mean, to be honest. But it's hard to help, and I wish we'd done a better job and knew more avenues to help that community.
Especially like mental health, like it's insane. Like you just see people walking around just having a conversation with three different people, but there's not three different people around.
I wonder, I wondered at times if is is mental health worse now than it ever was?
Oh yeah,
What's
definitely.
caused that? Um,
Laziness,
is it a multiple of reasons?
probably.
What's caused the mental health that we have, the problems that we have? I so much we hear so much about our military community and just you know suicide.
Yeah.
Um, I wondered, was it this way years ago too, and we just didn't hear it? Or is there a reason that our military suicide rate is so high right now?
Well, I tell a lot of it has to do with God being taken out of the equation. To be honest, like you don't see. I mean, it's not good to commercialize God, but you see more like people out on the streets talking about God, or more people even just saying God bless. Just having a
Right,
good heart or whatever. Like that's a lot of that has gone out the window too. Just being courteous to your neighbor,
right,
I guess.
yeah, you're probably right.
But like you said, we were all so busy. I mean, we were kids, but like our parents, I don't remember my parents ever really complaining about the homeless problem or whatever. It's because they were busy, like being a family, and
Yeah,
it's, I don't know. It's a really selfish world. I know that. That's for today. Like, seems like everybody does something for ulterior motives. It's
yeah, we know that, and that's why we have so much trouble forgiving ourselves, because we know what we fail at, and we know that maybe we're not courteous or gracious, and there's a desire in us to be. I really think there is, and we know when we fail that, and we need to act on it more and listen to that spirit that asks us to be that.
well, and it has to be inside of us. It has to be in all of us because when we're born, we're that innocent. Like, so it has to be inside of you.
Hmm.
So it comes from when you come out of the womb to 12, 13 years old. Like that's the pretty much the telling point of what kind of person you're going to be. I mean, it's not like the ultimate, but I mean, as far as you're inside what you totally believe with all your heart.
Right. I believe, and I think it's scriptural that, God places that spirit in us and he's going to call to it. And we're going to answer that call. Do we believe and do we trust? And then we answer those questions every day. How much do we trust him? But he calls to us and we hear that call, because even those that don't believe in him, I think they truly know he's real. I think they truly know that he's real. So it's in every man, and he says he's going to call unto every man, and it's sad that most deny him. Like most deny
Yeah.
that he is God. But um, yeah, I believe you're right.
Well, he knows our story before we're even born. That's so cool to me, but like wild
Right.
at the same time. Like he knows what we're gonna do from here. Like
There's I as I've gotten older, I enjoy this saying, and it is something that I get to say often now. Like I can't wait to see what God's going to do next. Even in these tragic times. My brother recently, man, he's 4 years younger than me. Um, let's see, how old am I? So he's be about 44, 43 or 44, but he was having heart problems, and they said your valve is leaking, and think you've had a heart attack. And he's anxious, and on top of that, he's our pastor. My brother is a
oh,
pastor at
nice,
our church.
nice.
So this woman that is a friend of ours forever, she calls him 3 days later and doesn't know any of this is going on, and she said, brother, she said, I'm so sorry. God has placed this in my heart to call you and to pray for you, and I put it off. And she said, I just want to pray for your heart. And he is like, you don't know how right you are, how close you
Mhm.
are. Well, the next time he goes back to the doctor, they tell him they can't find that problem. They don't know
Oh,
what they were looking at. That problem's not there anymore. And, he was able to speak with the congregation just about his anxiousness and his fear that he felt. And, and just being able to see what God done, I can't imagine what it done for the congregation, to see fear before and then afterwards hear of the healing. Because I truly believe that when God heals you, he forgives you, and just like Jesus did when he walked, he'd tell them your sins are forgiven and rise up and walk. And so
right.
I just love that we can rise up and walk. And I'm glad he's got that story, because it could have went the other way.
I like that. Rise up and walk. That's a really
Yeah,
good one right there. You could put that above your mantle every morning and see it every morning you get up, man.
that's right. What is that saying that you've been saying for a while, about, I think it is about passion, or is about getting up and doing something. I don't.
Focus on the daily. Focus on the daily instead of the dream, but let the
Right.
dream shape what you do daily.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good, man.
It is.
I like
It
that
is a
one.
good saying.
I like the other one. It's always everybody wants to be a beast until it's time to do what beasts do. That's
Yeah.
like kind of like the quote in the Bible there.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody wants to be a beast until it's time for the beast to hunt.
I've studied a lot recently about men.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and Men are men. We want to be men, but one of the problems that we have with the fall is because we're passive.
Mhm.
You see so many husbands that are passive, and what I don't mean somebody that just allows something to happen, but I mean we don't step up and be the men that God created us to be. And I believe that's when you said beast mode. I believe that's
Yeah,
what God said. He wants us to be in beast mode. Beast mode as a leader for
yeah.
our communities. Beast mode as a leader of your family,
Mhm.
and we don't do that very well. I didn't do it very well, and probably still fail at times, but we were able. There's nothing better than to lead your family in prayer. You know,
Hell
that's
yeah.
something. I'm a deacon in our church,
Nice.
and we didn't pray as a family. And my wife says to me a few years ago, do you think that it would be good if like we had prayer at night together as a family? And immediately it was, we talked earlier, it came over me, the failure that I have been as a man. And I just thought, you're right. And that has changed our life. There's been so many times that when things were happening that were out of our control, that to our kids or in the community, and we couldn't do nothing but sit there and cry because
Right.
there was nothing we could do. The times that we really humbly went to the throne and prayed, God always fixed it.
Yeah.
He always fixed it.
Right.
But that was like the last thing that we would do,
Yeah.
would be just let's pray about it. So I'm learning how to be that man that God has intended us to be. You know, interesting thing, you know, if you think about Adam and Eve, I never really thought about it this way, but you see the man Adam was there when Eve was getting ready to take the apple from the snake or the serpent, the Satan, and Adam didn't say, no, we're not going to do that.
Right.
We're going to follow
Oh yeah.
God. He said, okay. And then they took the apple. And that's just an example of how we should step up at times and say, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to follow the Lord. So that's gave me instruction and hope that we can. And I just love it that I've been able to be a part of this group that's studying about men. And right now we're studying couples, and you know, I love it. It's so funny because they say that men speak in blue, and we hear pink, or vice versa. You know,
Right.
we hear something different that's being said. Women speak in pink, and men listen in blue, or however the saying goes. But I believe that's true. So many times I've thought I was listening and I didn't hear what was actually being said. But
Right. Yeah. Bubba Burcham has a really good podcast actually, where he fellowships every I can't remember what day it is of the week, but he's got one
I've
of
seen
men's
you
fellowships.
promoting that, and I've got to listen to it
Oh
because
man,
I've
it's so
seen
good.
Bubba's tweets and his text, and I'm like, this dude is real,
He
you
is,
know.
man.
So I need to check that out.
He was really big on that. The men thing. We need other men around to for us to be like successful or confident. It's weird how that works out like that, and
Right.
yeah, that's cool. So I got to get going, but I like to finish with the who, what, and why.
Okay.
So for the who, we're gonna go. Who is your goat in your favorite sport?
Well, my goat was probably everybody else's was Michael Jordan.
Mhm.
Um, you know, I know he's not perfect, but he was an absolute beast. Um, couldn't be beat. You know, I think his will to win was just that much higher to everybody. I was a big Bulls fan during that run. Man, I remember when he retired the first time, I just bawled. I mean, I don't know how old I was. I had to be too old to act like that. But
Right.
man, I just cried. I just went outside. My life is over. I mean, so at that point, I was so um, touched by and shaped and moved by him.
Yeah.
So that was my greatest. But you know, as far as if I just think locally, you know, Bosworth was one of my guys. You know, and just watching him, and so the Sooners will. You know, honestly, I was never going to get a tattoo. My buddies would go. Well, they'd have weekends of let's go get tattoos, and I'd be like, No, can't think of anything I want on my body for the rest of my life. So
Right.
not until I decide that. But an OU, that right there behind you, was always almost getting put on my
Oh, nice, man.
chest or my back. So it's always been the Sooners.
Yeah, man. Corey Warren said it best when he said you fall in love with the O and the U.
That's right.
Heck
That's right.
yeah. So for the what is your definition of success?
Oh man, it has changed. Um, my personality, I've always been easygoing, I think, and come whatever may. I wasn't worried about money. I didn't worry about things, but I really didn't have no intentionality. Um, so um, intentionality is, to me, is giving your best through every situation. And I'm just learning how to do that, how important situations are, because I think that pertains to your saying, what you were saying earlier about the dream.
Mm-hmm.
My dream now is that somebody can look at my life, whether it be a player, a former player, hopefully my girls and my wife, and said, I want him to say that he was intentional and that he tried his best. And that's something that I've sold myself short and the friends around me. So intentionality is success to me, being intentional.
Nice. I like that. That's good stuff, man. Um, so why, and then for the why, I will go, why do you coach and teach the youth of the future of tomorrow?
Well, I didn't know that I ever would. I always thought I had a coach's mentality, but never would really coach, I thought, honestly. Um, and why I started was just to be able to provide my girls a team that they could play on. I wanted to get them started. And, but why I coach now is because I love our youth.
Yes, yes,
And
sir. Amen.
there are too many, there are too many around that don't love them, and at home or anywhere else. And if there's just one that says he loved me, and when I didn't have anybody else, then that would be the reason.
Nice, man. That's when I coached little league football, that was you were talking about the two parent and one parent homes, and like I totally relate with you. I had a kid in fifth grade. His mom was in and out of jail for meth, amphetamine, and his grandma was just out there, and I'd go see him, try and see him as much as I could, and but like you said, they took stuff different, man. The
Mhm.
direction I tried to give him at first, he was just real resistant because he thought I was trying to like discipline him,
Right.
and but yeah, but I coach because it's awesome, man, to see the joy on their face and the confidence just beaming from them by the end
Oh
of the
yeah.
season, man.
To see a player finally get it. I mean, there's nothing better than like I'm just beating my head against a brick wall, and to see one finally like get it,
Yeah,
there you love it for them.
for sure.
It doesn't do anything for you. You're not going home, and
Right.
but right then it's just the celebration of knowing that they have give their best and accomplished it. And it doesn't, win or lose, it don't matter. But
Yeah.
they've learned something.
Yeah, and that's been, and you got to be careful these days. A lot of coaches, especially when you get into the high school level, they're just so what they call it, transitional coaching, I
Hmm.
think is what it is. And then that's where you just care about the kid now. Like, I'm going to coach you, you're going to get better, and you're going to go on. Then you have the transformational coaching, which is like Venables. Like, I care more about you as a person and your growth than as a
Amen.
player in your growth.
Amen.
It's good stuff, man. Like, I'm excited. I'm super excited for the future, man. But you gonna watch the spring game?
Oh yeah, I'll watch it.
You gonna be there, Norman?
No, I probably won't go. Do you think it's going to be sold out? I mean, I like
Oh no.
literally, I, I don't know how many they could even expect, but I think there's such a newness about it, and there's such a zeal right now for Sooners. There's going to be a big crowd there.
Well, I
There's
think they
going
had
to
45,000 a few years ago.
be, yeah, it's
That's
going to
quite
be
a
awesome.
bit. Well, can we end with a boomer sooner?
Boomer!
Sooner. Oh yeah,
Robert,
thanks, bud. Take it easy.
I appreciate it. Hey, if you don't mind, I'd like to close the prayer for you,
Yeah,
man.
definitely,
Prayer for
definitely.
you. I know
Yeah,
that I know you've been struggling or had been with
yeah,
the passing of Tyson, and
definitely, man.
you know, what a blessing he was.
He
You
was
know, you
superhuman.
obviously got to meet him,
Yeah,
but what a blessing to so many. And I pray for his daddy and mom and family. So I just wanted to pray for you because I know I want success for you, brother.
heck yeah,
Um,
brother.
I want to see you successful in whatever you want to do. And
Nice,
you know,
man.
Jesus does too.
Heck
Lord, we
yeah.
just thank you for this time. And I just ask you to encourage Robert and to be with him as in his successes, Lord, be in his heart, be in his mind, and be in his family. Lord, help him to lead. Help us all. Just be with us as we go through our day. Lord, we just thank you for your many blessings. I ask you to be with the family of Tyson tonight, Lord. And I just thank you for his commitment and intentionality. Lord, we love him and we love you, and we just praise your sweet holy name. Amen.
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 Thank you, sir.
You bet. We'll talk to you again.
All right, bud.
See ya.
See ya.